round 2, currently 1-0. On the play, don't have double black, but we thankfully have Ultimate Price and Oath of Liliana, so we are going to keep. When Voila on the play can be awkward. Just 6 mana card on the play. You're generally pretty light on resources as is. So I don't know. Can be kind of tough. Like basically, you almost never get to play this turn 6 on curve. So it's kind of better to be on the draw. It's not really a card you want in your opening hand, which is why I limited the amount of 6-drops in my deck. And yeah, I think with a hand like this, I would prefer to be on the draw, but it's fine. For every hand like this, there's a hand that has like Transgress, Read the Bones, where I definitely want to be on the play, so it all works out. Our opponent is playing something weird. Ooh, drew Transgress. All right. I'll just use that now. Liliana or Silumgar? The Silumgar is something that we're going to have to be wary of later, but we can't kill the Liliana right now, so we're going to take that. Firing off the Traverse seems interesting, since they didn't really need the land. Yeah, they can play Jace, we'll play Oath. It's possible that we might want an Ultimate Price, but especially now that we drew Liliana, I think I'd prefer to play Oath. Ooh, Oath of Their Own. Like it. Ugh. Well, hopefully we draw a black mana that does not need to be tapped. And we get to work with a zombie. Well, no black mana, but we do have a Transgress, so guess we'll use this thing again. Basically just use our mana. Advocate, Price, Swamp, Sunken Hollow. So our opponent has a bunch of removal. We can price their Advocate pretty easily. If we draw black mana, we can also Liliana it. And then potentially combo Liliana with Languish. Assuming our opponent gets a 6 mana. Before we get to kill this Advocate. Alright. Jamming event tapped, so I think we're just going to price this thing now. I don't know if they have like Silumgar's Command or whatever, some weirdo counterspell. So Quagmire is actually pretty good against Liliana. We can play Liliana, tick up. That basically eats their turn. They're gonna. Well, I guess no. We get a zombie. So yeah, I don't even. I was just completely ignoring the Oath. But like, yeah, if we didn't get the zombie, then we could next turn defend with Shambling Vent potentially. But yeah, since we get the zombie, this all works perfectly. Great. Just great. Oath of Liliana, you are awesome. Ooh, a Gideon too? No way. No way. I can't be this lucky. Well, I'm just going to make a knight right away. Feel like I can just attack my zombie. Then we'll get another zombie. Man, Oath is good. Oath is just nice. Our opponent's not really doing anything. So it's emblem time. Since we drew another Gideon. Might be time for them to trade away the Quagmire. Trading for a knight seems worse than the zombie. They might also have to just like price a token, which I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, killing the zombies means that the Liliana emblem is going to do less damage, even though they probably can't beat it no matter what. But oh look, another zombie. It's so weird. What are we doing here? Just crashing with Gideon, I guess. And Shambling Vent, why not? Boom. It's gonna ult Liliana next turn, but whatever. Alright, read the bones. Obnixilis, Linvala out. Languishes seem pretty bad. Might want to just keep the Outburst. I like the Quarantine Fields. I'm going to cut the Outburst. Kalitas might be okay. Price might be okay. Duress might be okay. And then how many actual removal spells do we want? Like, Price kills Jason Advocate, but so does Grasp, at least most of the time. And then there's like Silumgar that we have to worry about. But if he's taking a Planeswalker, it's probably gonna do a decent amount of damage. I like Duress. I like the idea of Duress. The only issue is that my opponent's deck also seems to have a few creatures in it. So should I play these Kalitases both to have a thing to get back Liliana, but also to come at them from a different angle? I think so. Just more threats, too, in general, I think is probably pretty nice. I do want some removal for the 2-mana creatures. How many, though? Because they definitely have 8. But I have Ruinous Path and Anguish I'm making, too. And Oath of Liliana. I could see potentially cutting the ultimate prices, but me being on the draw, that means I won't be able to answer them until turn 3 unless I draw a Grasp, which I don't really like, so I should probably just cut 2 other cards. And maybe it's the Kalitases, because I think Quarantine Field is pretty good. Probably have to watch out for Emrakul. Emrakul's kind of a beating. Magic Online kind of fixed the resizing issue, but not really. Transgress Liliana Omnixilis, I'm in there. I like it. Oh, come on. Come on, Moto. You did it again. Why? Urgh. Alright, that's good-ish. Alright, Lumbering Falls is a pretty decent problem, I would say. Can't really do a whole lot about that. Can block it a bunch, which is certainly fine. Oh no, Transgress me? I don't like it. I had all these spells, and I was going to use them. Thankfully, they can't take my Transgress, so I can just Transgress them back. Obnixilis is probably my best card, but they might be scared of Liliana if they don't have a way to answer it. Just because ticking up to the ultimate is a threat. They could probably get Lumbering Falls online before then, though. At least I would think so. Opponent is deep in the tank. It did take the Ob. Well, now we have a price to answer creatures, which is pretty nice. And I'm going to transgress into Liliana here. Wow, they have Silumgard 4 land. Swamp Swamp Island, Sunken Hollow. Okay, so they can't turn their Lumbering Falls on quite yet. They don't have another green source. Play the land that they know about. Liliana doing her job, neutralizing these Sylvan Advocates. And if they play a forest, probably going to be in some trouble. There's Jace, but we're definitely going to kill that one. Quarantine Field is not bad. Question is to whether or not I attack with Shambling Vent or keep it back to like chump block a Lumbering Falls. I think I'm just going to attack. This is obviously kind of risky. Worth noting that my opponent did show me a Murder last game, which implies that they have that over Ruinous Path, which I think is reasonable, but at the same time, it might mean that my Liliana is just kind of untouchable. Okay, so now they have Evolving Wild, so they can turn on Falls next turn. Oh yeah, plus their Advocate gets bigger. Maybe I should have just killed the Advocate. Or kept Vents back for that. I forgot about the 6-land thing. Tilt. Alright, now we're in trouble. Because if I just Quarantine Fielded the Advocate, then we would take up to 7, have Vent to block, and then we could ultimate Lily. So this is bad. This is bad. I made a mistake. Big mistake. But now what do we do? Now we're in the spot that we're in. So, what is happening here? I'm definitely ticking up because ticking down doesn't do anything. Because we have no creatures. If I don't Quarantine Field this, Lumbering Falls takes out this in one shot, so. Guess that's what we're doing with our lives. Oh, that was a big mistake. Why did I attack? Alright, Read the Bones is good. Could turn up a Gideon or some such. I think I'm safe just bottoming both of those. Just basically going infinite with these Read the Bones. I could try and keep Liliana for an extra turn, but I don't think that's really worth it. Certainly not at the expense of my Shambling Vent. So yeah, we're just going to Read the Bones again. Did I not add black mana? I trust you, Moto. Alright, well, Grasp doesn't do it either. Don't think I need to duress this turn. I certainly could. Might be more useful if my Liliana dies and then we start trading like creature land blows. That Oath of Jace. That I might want to save duress for like when I draw an Obnixilis or something like that. And it can actually clear the way. Or in this case, my opponent plays an Oath of Jace and actually gets to fix their hand a little bit. And now maybe I can duress away a good spell from that. We'll see. We'll see. Worth noting that Haunted Dead would completely break open either of these matchups, and maybe I should have played like 2 of that card in my sideboard. Probably would have been pretty good. So instead of having a Liliana Ultimate, we have no Liliana at all. Tilt. That was the fear. That was the fear. Duressing and just bricking off. Now opponent is just going to have Advocate Jace Lumbering Falls. No point to grasp in a turn. Could have drawn like a Quarantine Field. Yeah, I don't think they're going to block. But I still think I want to grasp the Jace. So I think it might have actually been worth blocking for my opponent, but... yeah, now they can just start hammering me. 2 Shambling Vents blocking just doesn't kill anything. Now we're kind of flooded. Shouldn't have really mattered, though, because we should have had a Liliana emblem. That's alright, though. We'll fix it for game 3. Try and tighten up a bit. Maybe get some Cletuses in our deck, although it looks like my opponent did keep in some removal. So maybe it's not worth it. And they have something better to do than attack with Lumbering Falls. Maybe worried about losing their Advocate to a removal spell. Oh, this is good. They should probably just -2 this right off the bat. Yeah, get back Jace. Wonder if I'm supposed to draw first in this matchup. Being on the play probably doesn't yield a very large advantage. It's not bad. I think making a string of blockers is probably better than embleming. Yeah, either way, I'm pretty dead. Because they can just, like, Jace flip, grasp my blocker, take up Liliana, blah, blah, blah. They had my blockers covered in a lot of different ways. Well, Lumbering Falls beat the crap out of me. Although, you know, could have played around it. So what am I really trying to duress here? A removal spell to clear the way for something? Not really. Not really. I think I'd rather just have Ultimate Price to make sure I can always kill Advocate and Jace. And then we can actually just draw first and be a little bit more threat dense, I think. I think it's pretty unlikely, especially with the amount of times that I'm going to try and kill their 2-drop, that Quarantine Field is actually going to hit multiple things. So yeah, I think I'm going to do this and draw first. Maybe that's bad in a Liliana matchup. Magic's hard. It is hard. In the meantime, we wait. Wonder how how many of the people in these leagues are playing on the Pro Tour. I probably like drawing first a little bit too much. See, this hand would be a little bit better on the play, but it is what it is. If our opponent uses a Transgress, we'll be pretty happy to be on the draw, I think. Ugh. This hand is quite nice, though. Now, like last ditch, Liliana -2 actually does something. So there's that. Oh, Ruinous Path is tight. Keep open Grasp. Or play our ETB tap land. I think we just keep open Grasp so we can like kill Jace on tap play Liliana. So we both have Liliana. They have theirs first, which should not be a very big deal. They could have potentially attacked my Liliana with their Quagmire, but then I would have been able to hold open Grasp on the next turn. If they discard a creature to Oath of Jace, they can just immediately get it back to just get an extra card out of Liliana, which might be a good play. It's certainly a play that I don't want them to do, considering I have Ruinous Path, but they just discard 2 lands, which is pretty interesting. I would have thought that if they had lands, that maybe they would want to just fire up Quagmire, but that does not seem to be the case. So now I can play Ruinous Path to go after their Liliana, or I could just jam Kalitas. They do get a Scry off Oath of Jace, which is kind of a tilt. Don't really want that to happen. I also have to be wary of their Dragonlord Silumgar. So I can't put my Liliana on 7. Their Liliana's not really doing much right now, so I think I'm just going to leave it. It does get them the Scry, which is certainly nice. Yeah, and why wouldn't it just resize everything by clicking the chat thing? That just makes sense. Painful Truths, that's cool. I'm a little jealous. And if they grasp this, I can potentially just minus Liliana, get it back. So yeah, still not worried about theirs too much. Especially now that we have 2 answers. Even if we get Transgress, we can still answer it whenever. And we got value out of our Liliana, which is nice. We don't really have a way to beat Silumgar. I guess I could take it up to 7 and then hold open Unmaking now that I drew that. So maybe that should have changed my play, I guess. Hard to say. No matter what, since I had both planes in play, I couldn't have played Ruinous Path and Grasp, so maybe I should have sequenced my lands a little better too. Maybe I should have played the Caves last turn in case I drew a black mana this turn, but if I drew a black mana, then I wouldn't have had Unmaking, which is why I was even considering this line in the first place. Yeah. Either way. With my opponent casting Painful Truths, I'm not sure if it's better for me to go for the Liliana ultimate or not. Magic's hard. I don't know if y'all know that, but it is tough. I definitely should have thought a little bit more on my turn, though. Just because the unmaking changed stuff. It made it so I could potentially play around Silumgar with a Liliana alt. So, like, say I just take up Liliana to 6 and pass. Play my Sanctuary, pass. And then they try and attack me with a Quagmire. I can just grasp. If they don't and they do some other stuff, I can untap, Ruinous Path their Liliana, and then hold open Unmaking for Silumgar. And then maybe could just win off Liliana ult. So yeah, that path is probably better. Another Painful Truths? If so, I'd be really jealous. Kind of the same thing. A lot of 3-mana cards. They just discard some more lands again. Wonder what they got going on over there. This is a game where Duress would have been great. Mostly because they drew the spell part of their deck. So, I guess they could minus Liliana. Kind of a Hail Mary fashion, but realistically, they probably just want to tick up. I don't know if they have any way to answer Kalitas. I mean, they could -2, -1 it, but I'm still hitting it for 1, worst case scenario. Oh, love it. That's really good for me. I think I should just Ruinous Path through Liliana. Honestly. Kind of opens me up to getting Silumgar, but they can't really do anything with it. Also possible I should just poke the Liliana for 1, play my Shambling Vent, and then threaten the Awaken next turn. But this doesn't seem that bad to me either. My opponent has a lot of like really good tiny value cards, so they're beating me on that front, but it's really tough to beat the like go over the top of you stuff. And Kalitas is very much that, especially if you're a deck relying on creatures, but if you're like light on creatures, it can be even worse just because it's so much harder to like deal with these things. They kept in Languish? Ridiculous. Yeah, see this turn, now we can only play 1 spell. I guess I could have zacked a zombie to Kalitas to put it out of like Grasp and Languish range. I didn't think that was going to be a thing though. Could have played around it. Again, I think I'm in a spot where I'm not really building to alt, although I do still have that Unmaking. But I don't have a lot of good ways to fight the Hissing Quagmire, so... And we actually end up milling 2 land, which is pretty good, so I don't have to draw those. Only get to play 1 spell, which kind of stinks, but oh well. Next turn, we could probably do a bunch of stuff. Not going to be super exciting stuff, but Read the Bones could turn into anything. Actual anything. Man, that language surprised the hell out of me. I mean, I get that you have to kill some tokens sometimes, but just very strange. Didn't even have Kalitas in last game. What is this? Oh no. Oh no. Emrakul at its finest. Just -2 my Lily, unmaking my Kalitas. Said I had to play around that card and then did not. Not that I really had any great options, but yeah, this is another game where maybe I should have just ticked up Liliana and gone that route, because I think I would have an emblem at this point and still be tough to actually physically remove this Emrakul. Oh man, they get to block my Kalitas too. This is a travesty. Guess they can do it that way. I would just cast the Read the Bones, honestly. Like, I'm gonna get to cast it anyway. Suicide my Shambling Vent. Alright. What can I do to kill Emrakul? Nothing? Obnixilis? And then they can just Lily on it right back. Well, friends, I think we're dead. Ooh, quarantine field. Smart. Just good deck building right there. Man, and they can't Lily on it back. Whew. I mean, still probably going to lose, but pretty funny. Their forest count seems very low for these creature lands. They just get to traverse for whatever they want. It's like cheating. Should have cast that Read the Bones, man. Got greedy. What if I had a bunch of zombies right now from Liliana? Would that have been good? I think it probably would have been pretty good. I think my opponent would have a tough time winning if that were the case. Too bad. Just no good traverse targets left. What'd you get? Ishkana. That one's good. Don't think I can beat that. Aha! Kill your spider. You win.